Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It opens in 1943 on the Eastern Front with a train of civilians getting rounded up at a concentration camp. Led by their ruthless commander Ekart, the Germans are intercepted by a resistance group who got a tip-off about a train full of weapons. They have a gunfight until the half-vampire hybrid Rayne arrives and slaughters most of the soldiers on the train platform without breaking a sweat. Because of an unsavory union between her vampire father and human mother, the Dhampir has all the strength of a vampire but can also survive in sunlight. She corners the commander in a train carriage, but a soldier sneaks up and shoots Rayne in her back, spraying her blood all over Ekart's face. She swats away the shooter before impaling the commander to the floor and drinking his blood to quickly heal her wounds. Ekart's left there to bleed out as Rayne is greeted by the resistance leader Nathaniel, who wants the Dhampir to help them liberate Europe. He's disappointed to learn that the train doesn't contain the weapons that they were looking for and is almost just going to abandon the prisoners. But he's reminded by Rayne that they'll all be killed the moment more soldiers arrive, so they take them to freedom. Some time later, Lieutenant Kaspar shows up and finds Ekart survived the attack due to some of Rayne's blood getting in his mouth when she was shot. The Germans' best tracker wants him to be researched immediately, so they take the wounded commander back to headquarters in Berlin. After the director shoots a random woman so that you know he's evil and then points his gun at Kaspar so you know he's in charge, Ekart is brought in to the scientist Dr. Mangler, who's already operating on a live vampire that the guards captured a few nights ago. He claims that he studies them to make the greater army immortal and becomes intrigued when Kaspar informs him that he's found something different. The pair go to see him but are attacked by the now full-fledged vampire Ekart, whom Mangler only survives by claiming to be able to help with his transformation. Disappointed that the commander is another normal vampire and intending to return to his work, Kaspar tells Mangler that he was attacked in broad daylight. With the thought of a daywalker, he agrees to accompany the soldiers to the Eastern Front to find the creature responsible for Ekart. She's brought to a resistance safe house where she learns that Vasyl and most of the other humans there don't trust her for obvious reasons. She's given a bed, and the next morning, after receiving a massage at a bordello, she overhears a German soldier beating on one of the women. She tosses him out, and despite getting warned the Germans will suspect something's wrong, she tells the madam to close up early for the girl's safety. The woman refuses and keeps their doors open, but when Rayne prepares to leave, an employee comes up to thank her for protecting them. The pair fool around, but another woman named Svetlana thinks this is her opportunity to get herself ahead. She tells Mangler that she has information for Ekart, but he refuses her entry until she says it's in regards to a woman assaulting the soldier earlier. Telling her motive to the commander, she wants to trade the info in exchange for ownership of the bordello since she hates the woman who's currently running it. The vampire commander's been drinking townsfolk to recover his strength, and after receiving the information bites and turns Svetlana into a vampire. She's kept in a cage where Mangler learns that just like the commander, she's become a semi-Dhampir and can resist holy water and sunlight slightly better than the average vamp. The Germans then decide to raid the bordello, where Rayne's just getting dressed and gets no warning of their arrival. After cutting them down, she looks out the window to learn that the commander is still alive and is now a vampire before needing to flee from his soldiers. Taking only a minor flesh wound, Ekart prevents his men from killing her as he wants to take Rayne alive for more experimentation. Mangler rushes upstairs to the balcony to find that Rayne dropped enough blood for him to collect a sample of for more research. He speaks with Svetlana again, but she seduces him into her cage, so when she tries to bite him, Mangler is forced to splash holy water in her face and stake her in the heart. Meanwhile, Rayne returns to the hideout and asks Nathaniel for weapons to help go after the commander, but he refuses to let her take a bunch of dynamite. Feeling responsible for siring the new vampire, she attempts to go after Ekart alone, but Nathaniel convinces her that they'll do it together. He brings her to meet a codebreaker named Mags, who gets searched for weapons by a soldier before meeting with a captain in a bar. She then pulls a gun from under the table and shoots him before the resistance enters, and they question the remaining soldier about the commander's location. Upon leaving, Rayne's doing some brooding narration when she's randomly jumped by two vampire assassins but easily kills them both. That night, Rayne has a nightmare that her blood's given to the Germans' mustachioed leader and used to turn him into a Dhampir. Nathaniel tracks down Rayne sulking at her secret hideout, where the pair almost have a moment together until seeing that he's brought along Vasyl with him and the mood's ruined. At the German HQ, the lieutenant gets a visit from the commander in the middle of the night to talk about his tracking abilities. When Kaspar realizes that Ekart intends to turn him into a vampire, he attempts to pull a gun but is unwillingly bitten. Mangler attends to his transformation and uses the blood he obtained from the Dhampir to give the tracker a scent to locate her. Once he's recovered, he arrives at Rayne's hideout and attacks them, demanding to know what she's done to them. He tries to feed on Nathaniel, but Rayne knocks Kaspar down and Vasyl comes in to bludgeon the vamp repeatedly with a pole until he's incapacitated. He reveals that the commanders began making an army of vampires in Berlin and plans to swipe Mags from the bar after he smelt the Dhampir scent on her jacket. Rayne stakes Kaspar, turning him into dust, and they attempt to save Mags, but the Germans are already walking her out and putting her on a truck. They fight to try to get her back but are made to retreat from the larger approaching German force. Mags is taken to an abandoned rail yard to be tortured and wouldn't normally reveal any info but can't resist it after getting turned into a vampire. By the time Rayne and the group arrive back at headquarters, it's been destroyed as the abduction was just a diversion to wipe out their hideout. They go to a rail yard that the lieutenant mentioned where Rayne slaughters the half a dozen guards and Nathaniel leads the remaining resistance fighters. Mags has been left strung up as a vampire, so Rayne puts her out of her misery when they're suddenly ambushed by a group of vampire soldiers. All of the resistance are slaughtered except for Nathaniel, who destroys the vampires by shooting out the blackened windows and letting them burn. Ekart and some more regular soldiers show up and take Rayne and the resistance leader prisoner to bring back to Berlin. They intend to make a spectacle of hanging Nathaniel while Rayne is being taken so that she can be fed to their leader and he become immortal like in her dream. Dr. Mangler then spends the next hour straight draining Rayne's blood as she produces it almost as quickly as he can take it. The commander drinks some himself from her armpit, and after he's had his fill, the pair are transported by a well-guarded convoy to Berlin. Nathaniel feels up an unconscious Rayne in the back of the truck, and when she wakes up they find the time to fool around instead of escaping. Turns out Vasyl escaped the raid on the rail yard and went to collect some more resistance to ambush the Germans and rescue their leader. They put dynamite by the road while the sniper Natalia takes up position and simultaneously shoots the driver in front as they detonate it. They have a shootout while the commander drinks the remainder of Rayne's blood thinking it makes him stronger, and Mangler makes a dash for the woods. The doctor's spotted by Natalia and shot dead while Vasyl's shot by the soldiers, but before he can be executed by Ekart he's saved by Nathaniel. The commander whacks him away and has a fight with Rayne where he appears at first to be a lot stronger, but turns his back to boast about his immortality, so Rayne just kicks him over and drops a large rock on his head, killing him instantly. Vasyl survives, and with the remainder of the soldiers dead, Rayne and Nathaniel take the truck to Berlin where they continue to take down German bases. And the movie ends.